the conversation about the Miami Dolphins with their 2 losses out in the state of California is that they're less than. They're not. They're showing their true, if you will, selves. What do you make of the last couple of weeks with Tua and this offense and this team in general?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird with Miami, isn't it? That people seem to, like, when they're doing good, they poke holes in this football team and try and discredit any kind of success they have. And then when they do bad, everyone wants to go, I told you they suck. I told you Tua was no good. I told you. And it's just there's this weird fascination with this team. And I'll tell you what, look, I look at it like this. The past 2 weeks, I think there are some things that on a macro level need to be really looked at hard by Mike McDaniel. And then on a little bit more of a micro level individually, some players need to play better. There's no question about that. Macro level, on the offensive side of the ball, Mike McDaniel needs to put his foot up the rear end of his offensive line and say, hey, look, I came from a place where we ran the football on everybody. We ran it down their throat. We spent some money to get some better players in here on the offensive line. And right now, on a consistent basis, we can't capture the line of scrimmage against a high school football team, let alone an NFL, good defensive front. That has to get better. And he has to instill that in them and get these guys coming off the ball so where this offense is not so, quite honestly, Tyreek Hill dependent. Big play, explosive play dependent. Tyreek Hill picks up a fumble out of a scrum and runs it down the field 60 yards, and that's how you're getting your points. Or a defensive back falls down, or Tyreek just runs past the guy because he's 4-2 in the 40, 4-1 in the 40, and Tua just lays it up there. That can't be their offense. Their offense has to be more well-rounded than that. And a lot of that falls on him. That falls on Mike, and it falls on this offensive line. You go up against San Francisco and their D-line. You go up against the Chargers, who haven't stopped anybody running the football since Brandon Staley took over. You go up against Buffalo this week, you better be able to run the football or at least have them feel as though there is a credible threat to run the ball. And they can't. They haven't done it. He has to fix that. Number two, there was all this talk, right, this week about, well, Brandon Staley did something no one else did. He packed the middle of the field. He took away the inside throw. Every team does that. Bill Belichick was preaching that, Rich, back in 1985 when he was with the Giants. Back in 92, 3, 4, 5 when I was with him at the Browns. Every team tries to make you throw it outside and not give you the easy throws up in the middle. But if you watch the first couple plays of this game, let's see. Tyreek has Alohi Gilman beat on a wheel route down the sideline. Tua underthrows it. So that's one. Two, Jalen Waddle has the corner beat on a dig route. He drops it. Third play. Tyreek is open on a little out route against cover two. Comes in right behind the hook curl defender. Drops it. 3 and out. So it's like, okay, well, Tua sucks now, right? Tua can't throw. Tua can't play. Tua sucks. I told you Tua sucks. I mean, see, then that starts happening. Now, they throw the football to Tyreek way too much. And I get why they do, but it's got to have a little bit more – it's got to have a little bit more reason behind it. And I think they got away from that a little bit. And Jalen Waddle can't be forgotten in this offense like he was in that Charger game. So, look, I think there's a lot of things that they need to look at big picture. Tua's got to hit the gimmies when they're there. The offensive line's got to get its butt in gear. The defense, look, man, I mean, Brad Chubb, as much as I love him, look, you got to affect games. You got to put quarterbacks down. You got to put Justin Herbert on his back. I mean, Jalen Phillips, as good as they got to get him on the ground. Melvin Ingram, you got to get him on the ground. So there's a lot to go around here, more so than just, well, the Dolphins suck, and most of all, Tua's not as good as Justin Herbert, and I told y'all. But that's what happens with this football team. We'll see. They'll be up against it this week against Buffalo, who I heard you just talking about, Milano. Mm-hmm. This team, Rich, they don't fool you. Leslie doesn't try to fool you, and he'll tell you that. Leslie Frazier, the DC. They try to out-execute you. They try to out-tough you. Like, can you withstand it? Can you do what my guys can do for 3 hours? Can you stay in there? Can you stay in there? Can you keep fighting the fight? Are you going to be willing to when it's cold and this crowd just seems to be coming down on you and it seems like the stands are moving in closer and closer and the wind starts picking up? Can you withstand it, or do you just start scoreboard watching and going, hey, when can we go up that tunnel and get on the buses and get the hell out of here? That's their test this week. We'll see.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.